Hey guys, Jack on Wrist here, back with another video, and in today's video I'm going to talk about a fairly controversial topic. That topic is surrounding Seiko, and more specifically how a lot of people online seem to think that their quality has been reduced over the past 5 to 10 years, whereas I personally believe that Seiko is better than they've really ever been. So to kind of set the stage for why I believe watch fans are sort of turning on Seiko as a brand, I kind of want to talk about a few of the main reasons why I believe that is the case. So number one, I believe it's because Seiko over the past 5 or 10 years has gradually increased their prices and haven't really matched it with an increase in overall quality. And number two, I believe it's because Seiko has discontinued some of the cult classics within the watch community and haven't really replaced them with particularly exciting watches. So to tackle the first reason why I believe a lot of watch enthusiasts have sort of turned on Seiko has to do with the fact that the prices have gone up. And that point I can't really argue with. I do know for a fact that prices have gone up on the average Seiko watch over the last decade. And again, if that's something that you don't like and you just don't want any part of Seiko because of that, I totally understand. But I would say it's not 100% fair in my opinion. I mean, if you look at brands like Rolex, I mean, they have price increases basically every single year. And also, again, I'm not an economist, but it seems like pricing has gone up in every regard over the past decade. Inflation just continues to rise. And again, I'm not here to give an economy lesson because I certainly am not qualified to do that, but I don't think it's really 100% fair to blame Seiko and say, hey, their prices are going up, so I don't like the brand anymore, because I just don't think that's really a fair thing to do. Yes, you would be right to say that Seiko does not offer the same value that they used to in the under $100 price point sort of space. A lot of people point to anecdotal pieces of evidence like the Seiko 5 made famous by Hodinkee that quote unquote looked like $1 million that they don't sell anymore for $75. Those watches are now $300 or $400. And I definitely understand the frustration there, but again, everything is moving upward right now. I don't think there's really a lot of great value watches under $100 right now, unless you go to really the Chinese market. Take a look at a watch like the Hamilton Khaki Field Mechanical. That watch used to be $300 all day long about 4 or 5 years ago, and now I believe it's about $500 or $600. I mean, things are changing in the watch world, and again, I don't think it's fair to blame Seiko for prices going upward. I feel like a common counter argument is that Seiko watches have gone up in price, but the quality has not followed. And again, I would say you're kind of right in that regard. Yes, Seiko is not exactly replacing Hardlex with sapphire in a lot of their models, and they're not really giving us milled clasps and things like that. But at the same time, this is kind of what Seiko is. I mean, they've never been known for their pure quality, and I think they're pretty much of the same quality that they were, again, about 10 years ago. It feels like new Seiko is pretty much old Seiko. I mean, the quality, again, is okay, and it's nothing to be, dying for, but it's nothing to be super disappointed in. I think that's just kind of what Seiko is, and I think, again, the price increase behind it, which I think is relative to the watch industry, is not something to necessarily point towards as a disappointment in Seiko specifically. The second reason why I believe a lot of watch enthusiasts have turned on Seiko is because they've discontinued a lot of cult classic and fan favorite models. We're talking about models such as the Seiko SKX and the SARB. I certainly understand the frustration from the average watch enthusiast. Despite it being disappointing that Seiko has discontinued some of these fan favorite models, I personally think that they are being replaced by other new iconic models. It seems to me a lot of people think that the new watches that Seiko produce are never going to be of the same following and as liked as some of these older classics, again like the SKX or like the SARB. I've seen this opinion a lot. I feel like a lot of people tend to have the mindset that the newer watches that are produced by really any of these brands will never replace the iconic older watches. They have this sort of mindset that new will never be as cool as the old. And I think sometimes that logic does make sense, but in the case of Seiko, I think it's not really fair. I think Seiko is truly making some new watches that are kind of taking the place of some of the older iconic models like the SARB and like the SKX. Take a look at the series of watches from Seiko using the 4R34 movement, that newer automatic GMT movement. I mean, I think those watches are just spectacular, and the community absolutely loves those, And so I think it's unfair to say, oh, Seiko, they just don't make those kind of watches anymore, when, in my opinion, they really are, and they're doing it right now in front of our very eyes. And maybe this is the core of my argument, but it just feels to me like a lot of the times the argument behind Seiko is tied to a few iconic watches and not really being applied to Seiko as a whole and what they're doing. That's why I would go so far as to say that Seiko is not only not worse than they were 10 years ago, but they're actually better than they were 10 years ago. I mean, I think that 4R34 movement is a perfect example of this. I mean, they are continuing to innovate and provide value for watch fans, and I think that's something that people are sort of neglecting. But like I said at the start of this video, I'm really curious what you guys have to say about this topic. This is just my opinion on this one particular issue within the watch community, and I would love to know what you guys have to say about it. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, I would really appreciate it if you can give this video a like, subscribe to the channel for more watch content, and of course, let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. I look forward to seeing you guys in the next one.